I have a second channel, Cube Compium TDX.
Hey everybody, so effective January 10th, 2023, Microsoft will be ending support for Windows 8.1. Not that many people really care. I mean, Windows 8.1 has a very small market share of course, computers, at least as of right now. Kind of like Windows Vista in a way. When Windows Vista support ended back in 2017, it was pretty quiet because obviously most people moved on from Vista by that point. But I figured I'd take the opportunity to talk about, of course, looking back on Windows 8 and 8.1 in general. So, to be specific, Windows 8.0 support ended quite some time ago because it was expected for Windows 8 users to upgrade to Windows 8.1, which fixed some of the issues in Windows 8.0. It made the Windows 8 operating system a little less terrible, but still overall, aside from a few nice things like a much nicer task manager and a pretty stable core, Windows 8, 8.1 was just never was that great of an operating system because Microsoft at the time seemed to have a vision with Windows 8. At the time, smartphones and tablets, mobile was the big deal. It almost seemed like smartphones and tablets were going to kill the PC as we knew it, and Microsoft was trying their best to make the PC relevant, and their idea was to basically dumb it down to the equivalent of a smartphone. To design an operating system that was designed around the idea of having a touchscreen, which the majority of PCs don't have a touchscreen. It did, however, force computer OEMs to innovate and come out with new computer designs, and I believe the 2-in-1 laptop was you could pretty much thank Windows 8 for that because Microsoft was pushing the OEMs to design computers that were designed for touch. As a touch first, mouse second design. I mean, in Windows 8, when you started up the OS, the first thing you got was the start screen, which looked like the home screen on a phone, except it wasn't organized. In a recent video, I mentioned Windows 8.1. I said looking at the start screen of Windows 8 and 8.1 reminds me of a 16-year-old girl's tablet. Except the 16-year-old girl's tablet would be far better organized than Windows 8. I mean, having all these random sized tiles scattered about the screen with all these kitty animations and stuff, I mean, I think I used to say that it dumbed down the PC operating system design to that of a Fisher-Price toy. And it's fun because back when Windows XP came out, people used to make fun of Windows XP's colorful theme as a Fisher-Price theme. But except Windows XP was highly useful. Can't really say the same for the start screen in Windows 8 and 8.1. I mean, when you look back at Windows 8.0, the start button was totally removed. And the problem with Windows 8 was they took such a drastic move to change a lot of the core components of the OS, like the start menu, getting rid of the start menu, getting rid of the start button, putting these charms on the right side of the screen where the start button actually resided. Many people didn't realize this, that you mouse over to the right to get your charms, and there was your start button to get back to the start screen. The Windows desktop was considered an app. I mean, come on. I mean, it just comes to show that the core design of Windows 8, again, was a touch-first environment. The desktop, where all the useful stuff was merely just an app in a mobile OS design. And to be honest, I would say that Windows 8 and 8.1 were kind of like Windows Vista in a way, except worse than Vista. I mean, Windows 8 and 8.1 You can make them useful with third-party apps like Classic Shell, which is now OpenShell, or Start As Back, which in Windows 11 is now Start All Back. I mean, you could use third-party utilities to make the OS better and easier to use, which, I mean, in Windows 8 and 8.1, getting the Start menu back by any means made the OS a whole lot better. I mean, if you got rid of I think it's called the Metro interface, and replaced it with the classic Windows 7 style Start menu, Windows 8 was actually not a bad OS. Again, it brought some nice features like the Windows Task Manager, which that, of course, remained pretty much the same up through Windows 10. It also brought new features to the File Explorer, among other things. And Windows 8 and 8.1 at their core were a pretty light OS that ran, arguably, I'd say in some cases, better than Windows 7. And also, the earlier builds of Windows 10 were basically Windows 8.1 with a better Start menu, among other things like being able to have your modern apps in Windows, which, I mean, so the earlier builds of Windows 10 were actually very sleek and fast, unlike the newer builds of Windows 10, like I think version 20.04 and onward. Those builds of Windows 10, as I have shown in videos here on the channel, those newer builds of Windows 10 run significantly slower on older hardware, and pretty much, I guess we could say, pretty much require an SSD in order to run effectively. But yeah, Windows 8.1. I guess I could say for a lot of us, we won't really miss it. Now, there are some people who have held out and remained on Windows 8.1 because they don't like some of the changes in Windows 10, particularly Windows Update. But if you're running the Pro version of Windows 10, you can install a group policy update or a group policy change to force Windows Update to notify you to download and install updates instead of automatically downloading and installing updates and automatically restarting the computer, among other things. Windows 8.1, Windows Update was more like Windows 7, and of course there were some other elements in the OS that some people prefer to stick with versus Windows 10, and I can understand. But I think I can say that for a lot of us, the end of support for Windows 8.1 is not really much of a big deal. In a way, it could be said like it could. In a way, it could be seen as good riddance. I mean, Windows 8, I tell you, it was an OS that, I mean, brought a few good things with it, but it brought a lot of bad things with it too. I noticed with around the time Windows 8 launched, it seemed that computers and like especially on laptops, they got really cheaply made. The build quality of laptops really went downhill. Now I used to jokingly say, well, hey, the build quality matches the operating system that's pre-installed. I mean, it's like the OS, Windows 8. Windows 8, basically, it seemed like Windows 8 and 8.1 made the PC less relevant as a useful tool. And I think some people probably thought that Windows 8 was going to be the death of the PC. Windows 8.1 made things a little less terrible, but still, I think for many people it was not regarded as a good OS. But yeah, so effective January 10th, 2023, Windows 8.1 support has ended. Goodbye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. So Windows 8.1 will be joining Windows 7, Windows Vista, Windows XP, and older Windows versions, and of course, well, you know, the club of Windows versions that no longer receive updates from Microsoft. Okay, let's say you have a computer running Windows 8.1 and you want to upgrade to something newer. Of course, Windows 10 is an option. You could upgrade to Windows 10, but you could actually upgrade directly to Windows 11 if you really wish. However, you have to keep in mind that your computer running Windows 8.1 most likely will not meet the Microsoft Elite Class MIL/SYS requirements for Windows 11, so you would need to use Rufus to mod the installer to bypass CPU and TPM checks. If you wish to install Windows 11 on an unsupported system, keep in mind if you do so, you will not receive feature updates automatically. You have to manually install those. But, I mean, you actually can upgrade from Windows 8.1 to Windows 11. I actually did a video talking about that. So, that definitely is an option if you wish to upgrade to Windows 11. But at the least, you should go ahead and upgrade to Windows 10. It's free to upgrade to Windows 10. It's also free to upgrade to Windows 11 too. But I'd like to go and finish this off with some video footage from 2012. This was my very first time seeing the Windows 8 release preview. It was back when I was still taking classes in college, and of course, at the time, I already was pretty well versed in computers at that time. But I had to take a class that basically taught people how to build a PC and how to install Windows. I was more of a lab assistant than a student in that class because I obviously already knew what I was doing. But they introduced Windows 8 release preview to everybody in the class, and I got to go hands-on with it for the very first time. Never messed with it before, so needless to say, I was pretty much bashing the OS a lot, and maybe some of it was not quite so fair. But then again, Windows 8, it had such a huge change in the way that basic navigation was done in Windows. I mean, instead of the desktop being your primary place, the start screen was your primary place. And in Windows 8.1, they gave you back the option to go straight to the desktop if you wish. And of course, in Windows 10, they got rid of that crap. Now the kitty apps and the little weirdly sized tiles got, of course, sent to the start menu. And in Windows 11, the live tiles, I think, were killed for good. So that's one thing I'm glad to see gone in Windows 11 is those stupid tiles. But anyways, here's a look at that video footage, and of course, again, as I mentioned, very first time ever messing with Windows 8 release preview. It was more or less stumbling around the OS, if you want to call it that. The video footage isn't the best, and that's one of the reasons why I've never uploaded to YouTube here on the Computer channel. It's because, again, it wasn't the best footage, but I figured with Windows 8.1 support ending, closing the door on the Windows 8 era in general, I figured it would be a good time to go and share this footage with you. So anyways, here you go.
Hey
everybody, this is a sneak preview of Windows 8, just installed it. And just want to go ahead and show you guys how sorry of a job Microsoft has done on this new version of Windows. It is literally an oversized smartphone. Now, normally when you would start up Windows, you would see something like this. It's called your desktop, where you actually have a taskbar, start button with a start menu, your programs and everything. But now you get this. Yeah, it's the equivalent of looking at a smartphone. And notice it goes side to side because it is made for touch. It's like Microsoft wants us to start reaching over and start pressing stuff and moving stuff around. Well, we could just be using the keyboard and mouse. I mean, it's just absolutely wonderful. And let's look at the Internet Explorer.
Oh, okay. That's cute.
Yeah, it loads just like a app does on a smartphone.
Yeah. Right there.
Because Microsoft thinks that computers should be just like smartphones.
Just play around with it. See what you like and don't like.
Well, I'm done, man.
Yeah.
We're not only playing around, we're actually stumbling around. That's actually what we're doing. Well, apparently IE failed to load. I clicked it and it didn't actually load. Let's see, how do we get to desktop? Oh, desktop. Know something is actually missing here. There's no start button. You gotta mouse over, and if you get just the right spot, oh yeah, back to smartphone interface again. And let's say for example, let's start music.
But it doesn't do the same thing anymore.
Which the only problem is we have no internet connection, so yeah. Smartphones don't work good when they don't have internet access. See, look, here's another problem. There's no X. How do you get out of this?
Oh yeah, wait, go
Yeah,
ahead.
if you mouse over just right, you actually find this. I mean, just look at this. We got this big old clock. Don't this look like a smartphone?
I like the clock size. I mean,
Yeah,
like
but
that.
it's a tablet thing. I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with the big clock, but I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. All right, so let's start. Now, of course, that's still running in the background. Let's just get rid of it, shall we? And let's see. And of course, seeing we have no internet connection, Internet Explorer wouldn't load. That's why it wouldn't load. But yeah, it's absolutely useless. In order to access control panel, let's see if we can find control panel. See, all we're getting is this crap.
I see what
See?
you're saying. So how do
See,
you get to it?
yeah. How do you get to it? Oh, right click. All apps. Now we're actually getting things, and notice, and this is to do a little comparison. When you click on Start on Windows 7 or earlier versions, you go to All Programs. Each program, other than Windows features, for example, your programs are in folders. Everything is neatly organized in folders. Now everything is just scattered in a big mess. Like Windows Accessories, you have all this, and unfortunately don't have any programs installed. But when you install some programs, everything. Let's say, for example, let's open like let's expand. Like let's see, K-Lite codec pack on here. Notice how we have different shortcuts inside of this folder. Well, Windows 8 they're just scattered all across the screen in a big old mess. Let's go to Control Panel. Okay, finally we actually had the control panel. And this looks really similar to Windows 7. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it is identical to Windows 7.
Okay, they don't have it.
Yeah.
Categorized.
Yeah, but let's say here's the real problem with Windows 8. Let's see, look, I tried to go to Start, but that went away and ended up clicking Internet Explorer. I mean, it's garbage. And let's say I'm willing to find something. Now, let's say in like Windows 7, if you look for printers, you just type printer in the Start menu. And you would actually get your control panel shortcuts and you see all sorts of stuff that's useful. Let's say if you want to find printers in the control panel or something. Most people, if they want to get the quick way to it, they would just start typing. Nothing. It only searched for apps. While on Windows 7, it would search for everything. This is useless. So, what you got to do is go find the control panel or type control panel because that's now considered an app.
Okay. We have another
Now we start control panel. And now you actually find your printers and everything and all your settings in the control panel.
Can I show you a shortcut?
Yeah, I was trying.
Yeah, I'm actually making a different video. I know how to get there. But so anyways, now you'd actually find the printers and all your settings in the control panel. And here's something funny. If you remember, we had that music program open earlier. You mouse up here in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. See, there it is, sitting in the background.
That's a mouse.
Look, you don't even recognize that the music app is still running until you mouse up here in the corner. Oh, there it is.
Anywhere in the purple section. On the purple section.
It's like nearly impossible to get out of it. I mean, it's like when you launch apps from the smartphone interface, you can't close them.
Roll over to your right.
And it's absolutely ridiculous.
Okay. You can't
This is
close the app.
Yeah. Well, you can if and that's whenever you manage to find out how to do it. But
Which window,
yeah.
whenever you open your
But let me-
program, you have full control.
let's see.
of the whole
For instance, but-
land you are that you can
Look-
do with it.
look here.
Okay.
Look here. Camera.
Go ahead. What
This thing
about
to see how it says camera.
it? Yeah.
Don't this remind you of a smartphone?
Yeah. You just
Watch
click
this. We'll
on
click.
your camera,
There's no camera. Sorry.
connect the camera. You have to
Say,
turn that down.
how do we get out of this?
I see what you're saying now.
Yeah, it's like we're lost. How do you get out of
You
this?
normally would have an X up here.
Yeah, there's no X.
And you could just click it on. Click
Yeah,
on it.
it's absolutely ridiculous.
That weird clock.
Setting.
Yeah.
Try escape. What about
Well,
escape?
Which is
Windows, which is essentially
nope. Escape doesn't work. Nope.
Where your menu thing, the file menu, explorer menu.
We are just stuck.
We're trying to get out of this app.
Yeah. And now watch. I'll go over to desktop, which is now an app. Oh yeah, now it's still running.
Right.
It's still running. I don't really know what to say.
We're trying to close out a program.
It's funny.
but We don't
It's
know
funny.
how.
All this crap when you start it, there's no X to stop it. It's just running in the background. Oh, now you figure out how to do it. So it took probably 5 minutes to figure out how to close something in Windows 8. Hey, it gets better. Trust me, it gets better. Watch this. We're gonna go back to Metro.
Go ahead.
Let's go ahead and launch. Let's see. Is there anything that will work without an internet connection, which I do not see. These are the only Metro apps, which is not called Metro anymore. It's I think called Modern UI, which I don't think it's modern in any way, shape, or form. But let's start photos. Now the photos thing is pretty cool, but only when you're using it on a smartphone or a tablet. Otherwise, I think I would rather have Windows Live Photo Gallery. And let's start that camera thing again. Oh, here we go. Here's something real funny. Let's say I want to move this. It's like you can't
It won't stop. It won't
Yeah, watch.
stay in one place.
no.
So
I
you
see
cannot
what you're
resize your window and move where.
But I
you
was
like.
wanting to show you something else though. It's pretty pathetic.
You want to do anything else?
It's getting smaller,
Yeah.
but it won't stay.
Now here's the funny thing about Windows. Here's the funny thing about Windows. When Windows 95 come out, the mission, well, even Windows 3.1, the mission was to be able to make your computer do more than one thing at a time. But apparently it's like they're trying to make that harder. So it's like we're going back to the old MS-DOS days when your computer can only do one thing at a time. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Start, desktop. Now we're going to close. Close this too. I'm trying to find some certain apps that I can run. Let me see, like calendar. Oh, I want you to sign in with a Microsoft account. Well, let's see if I can find something else. I'm trying to let me see. See, most of the stuff will not work without internet connection. Anyways, what I was trying to show you was
We have the same problem.
yeah.
Got the same problem.
But what I was trying to show you.
Again?
We can't have
But yeah, basically in Windows 8, when you actually can put stuff side by side, it doesn't let you do a 50-50.
Something must be bad then.
So yeah, one more thing. Let's go ahead and shut down Windows 8. Now you're probably thinking, how the heck you do that?
Verbatim or you did verbatim?
Verbatim.
You actually have to go over to Settings, and then click on Power,
There's maybe something wrong
and then
with my
click
router.
Shut Down.
Yeah.
How ridiculous.
So anyways, that wraps up for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Well everybody, that wraps up for this video and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to QComputer channel, and be sure to tick the bell, that way you get notified of new video posts. Also, I recommend following QComputer Company on Facebook. A link is in the video description. In addition to computer tech videos, I have a second channel, CubeCompMTDX. Links are available at the end of this video. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching and your support.